If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
The best sports radio in Utah is right here, right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard, it is the coach, Tim LaComb. We do it every day from 10 to 2 as we kick off your noon hour. We'll chat with Greg Barnes from Inside Carolina, get some thoughts from him on Caleb Wilson. So we've talked AJ, we've talked Darren Peterson, we've talked Cam Boozer. Now time to take a closer look at Caleb Wilson, who I think is a dark horse to really mix things up here. Everybody's got him slotted at 4. Everybody's got, the top 4 just kind of slotted right now. I would not be surprised if that thing gets turned upside down.
Well, that is all just now hype and everybody kind of saying what they think they would do, and nobody's telling anybody the real truth right now because that would be silly.
Yeah.
So this will move around, and I do get a really good vibe from this Caleb Wilson. The more I look into him, so it'll be interesting to get some insight. All of the guys covering the teams have been pretty glowingly. The reports have been glowing, and I think we'll see. I would imagine this will probably follow suit.
Well, I would imagine because you get a guy as a true freshman that averages nearly 20 and 10, and there's a lot to be excited about there.
Well, and I think he is one of these guys, too, that loves to play, loves a challenge, and wants to get better. I mean, that's what you're looking for. You don't want guys to get to the league and say, I've made it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I've done it. You want guys to continue and try to push themselves to be the best they can be.
And the edge, and you mentioned the story about not making the U.S. team and getting cut and taking it out on some people.
Yeah, took it out and then had something to say about it. So I definitely like what I hear in that regard. And then what's not to like about his physicals, right? His measurables were awesome. His approach to the game, you can't really put him in a corner, box him into something. He can play multiple and be very versatile, which fits today's game.
Well, and then also, too, on the defensive side, where everybody likes to switch and everybody likes to throw different people at you, then you've got that same situation here where he can defend multiple positions with that length and that athleticism.
Yeah, he can take on a big for a while because you can use his length and quickness to get around. He measured 6'9" and 2 and a quarter barefoot at the combine with a 7-foot wingspan and a 9-foot standing reach.
Joining us now from Inside Carolina, Greg Barnes, kind enough to hang out with us. Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
We're fired up because obviously with the Jazz and the number 2 overall pick, you look at these top picks and any one of them I think would be a great fit for the Utah Jazz. But for some reason, everybody kind of has made these slots where, AJ maybe 1, Peterson 2, Boozer 3, and then Caleb Wilson 4. Coach and I both talked to many people that think, hey, Caleb Wilson may be the best player out of all of them and may be the number 1 overall pick. What was your thoughts of him and your evaluation of him in that first year at North Carolina?
Well, I agree with that. And I think in terms of potential, he's probably got more of it than anybody. When he came in, we knew that he was a phenomenal athlete, just watching him through the high school ranks, that he had a lot of ability on both ends of the floor. But we really thought that he was going to be raw offensively. And the amount of work that he put in from the end of his high school career until the start of his freshman year at Carolina just paid enormous dividends. And he still has a lot of ways to grow and to improve his offensive game. But he just showcased an incredible talent base. And he's got a lot of work to do on the defensive end, but that's just more technique than anything. But I think everybody around the program was surprised at how good he was. And that's knowing that he was coming in as a top 10 high school recruit who was projected to be lottery. But even with those accolades, he was a lot better than anybody thought he was going to be.
What are some instances this season that stood out to you that could kind of really personify who this kid is?
It's interesting because you look at what he did from a statistics basis, and it jumps off the page. I mean, you understand that he led the country in dunks. He set the record for UNC with dunks, despite not playing the last month or so of the season. Just a tremendous athlete, can jump out of the gym. But more than any of that was the personality component. Hubert Davis always talked about coming into the program and unpacking your bags. And what he meant by that was, hey, this is not just come into school for however many months, play the season, and then leave. We want you to be part of the community, part of the program. And Caleb Wilson did that probably better than anybody I can remember in the last 10 or 15 years. Just really embraced what the Carolina basketball program was about, was active in the community. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he got out with a lot of students at one of the local gyms on campus and just invited everybody out to play pickup. And so he did that for an afternoon. He participated in a lot of other sporting events for other teams. So that component, I think, is what surprised a lot of people. And I know he's made some comments at the Combine about how he can impact a team and the surrounding area, and that he did that at Carolina. And he absolutely did. Like the amount of support that he has moving forward from the Carolina fan base, even though he's only in Chapel Hill for 6, 7, 8 months, that's going to be a lasting effect for the fan base and for him in his future. So he brings a lot of those components far beyond what he is like as an actual basketball player.
So obviously he looks like a tremendous young man, his personality on and off the court, but he does have an edge to him. And I don't think it was necessarily just joking around with Coach Shrewsbury when he went off against Notre Dame and reminded him, hey, you cut me from that team or that under-18 team last year. It sounds like he's got a long memory when it comes to things like that.
He does. And he, obviously with Carolina and the Michael Jordan history, he's talked about that, how Jordan really tried to find the most minuscule detail of something that he could take as a perception of somebody taking a shot at him or being critical. And he has tried to embrace that mindset, and that's a great example there. I think the other one that's pretty obvious, and if people did not watch the first half of the UNC Duke game in Chapel Hill, everybody's seen the Seth Trimble 3 to win the game. But in the first half, North Carolina really had no business being on the court with Duke, except for Caleb Wilson. And he saw that as an opportunity against Cameron Boozer to say, hey, Boozer's getting all this national attention. I deserve the same level of attention. And it's one thing to say that, but it's something else to go out there and prove it. He was the best player by far on the court in the first half. And without him, Carolina's probably down by 20, 25 points because his teammates really didn't show up in the first half. And it was just a phenomenal individual performance. And it speaks to that same mindset of wanting to prove to everybody that he's the best player on the court.
You're obviously close in proximity, and you just mentioned Boozer, another guy that's at the top of the list. From your vantage point, what was your take on his season this year at Duke?
Boozer reminds me a lot of, and granted, he's more skilled than Tyler Hansbrough. But Tyler Hansbrough was like the ultimate college player. And he was a 4-time first-team All-America. And Boozer, when he came into Duke, he was so well-polished and so talented that he was clearly, I think, the best player in college basketball at that level last year. I think the question with Boozer was always, okay, so he can do this against college level competition. How is it going to translate to the pro game? And somebody said the other day, and I think this is pretty accurate, he has the highest floor of probably anybody in the draft. And that's not intended as a slight, because he's incredibly talented. But he's not the athletic type that can play above the rim. And I do wonder when he goes against guys that are a little bit bigger than him and more athletic, what challenge that will present to him. And so from that standpoint, that's why I think, while he was undoubtedly the best player in college, I don't know that he's, I keep hearing him being talked about as a top 5 pick. I don't see it, but I think clearly he's top 10. But I think Wilson has more upside than what Boozer does.
When you look at the ability, we talk about his offensive ability and him going off in that game against Duke. Talk about him as a defender and what he can help out a team at the NBA level on the defensive side of the court.
Yeah, I think that's where he has the most growth potential, because there were times when he was locked in because of his height and his length and his athleticism. He could be really good. And he was a great off-ball defender. So if he needed to slide over and get a block or anything like that, he was very effective. The problem was that when he was tasked with guarding somebody on the block, he just wasn't where he needed to be technically. And so sometimes that was a deficiency. And one of the weird things about Carolina last year, there's a handful of them, but defensively, once they got into ACC play, they were really poor. And part of that was because Wilson at times would just kind of go through the motions. And when he actually got hurt later in the year, they brought in Jaron Stevenson, who was an older player and played at Alabama, and they actually got better defensively pretty quick. And I think that just kind of speaks to the fact that Stevenson, because he was an older player, was able to do the little things, the details, better than Caleb. So I think he has a lot of potential on that side, and he certainly cares. But technically, he's got a lot of room to grow on that front.
You mentioned Hubert Davis earlier, who was relieved of his duties, and a whole new approach and regime in Mike Malone. Your thoughts on that and how things are going so far?
It's certainly been a change. The fact that North Carolina does not have a head coach that is a Carolina former player, but he's done a good job of trying to embrace that Carolina family. He's got a couple of coaches, Pat Sullivan, who played at Carolina, also worked in the NBA for a long time, and Sean May are assistants that have those Carolina ties, which is necessary. It remains to be seen exactly how the first year goes. I think there's always the opportunity for first year struggles, just with having an NBA guy coming in who hasn't coached at the college level in a long, long time. I mean, I guess he's 26 years out from his time at Manhattan. So I think the early returns have been positive. I don't think he's blown anybody out of the water with the way that he's handled the transfer portal, but that's a tough ask coming in off of just a month's time. But so far, so good. And I think everybody's fascinated to see if that experiment can work.
So there's a lot of intangibles when you're picking a guy as early as number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And obviously the talent is the number one issue. And I don't think anybody has any concern whatsoever about Caleb Wilson in that regard. But just from being around him and covering, does he appear like a guy that actually loves the game of basketball? Because there's some guys that are just born with the DNA to be a basketball player. They're tall, they're athletic, but they don't necessarily love the game. Do you get that sense with Caleb?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about it. He's contagious with how he practices. You always have those guys who come in and they are good players. And kind of to your point, I don't want to say they go through the motions, but they don't inspire their teammates. And Caleb has always been that type of guy. Like, his teammates want to match his intensity in practice and in games. And that's very valuable. And the other part of it that I think is important is towards the end of the year, North Carolina was doing okay. They were probably headed to be like a 5 seed when he got hurt down in Miami. And given this time period, and given the fact that he was going to be a top 5 lottery pick, there was plenty of reason for him to say, you know what, we're a month out. I'm just going to shut it down. I don't want to get hurt further. He was chomping at the bit to get back into playing shape because he wanted to play. He would have played earlier than they let him play, or would have let him play before he broke his thumb, because he wanted to make sure he got back with his teammates. And so that was very telling to me, that there was no conversation about whether or not he should shut it down. It was just a matter of how fast can I get back to be able to help my team. And that, as I said, that speaks volumes to me, and that kind of matches everything that we've heard from his high school coach to his AAU team and from his teammates.
Where do you feel like Caleb fits best? What position? Where does he play the best from?
That's a good question. I think right now it's the 4. He's got to get his offensive perimeter game a little bit better. He's made strides in that regard. So I think eventually he can probably slide down to the 3. Clearly he's a little bit light to be playing the 4 right now. But I would say initially that's going to be his best position, with projecting towards being more of a 3-man after you get a couple years under his belt where he can actually expand his offensive game.
Before we let you go, if Hubert Davis and North Carolina doesn't blow that lead against VCU, and let's say they just make the round of 32 and then they lose there, is Hubert Davis still the coach at North Carolina?
It's a fascinating question. And I think I don't know that I know the answer to that. What I will say is that really why things fell off the cliff for him at the end is that he had no interest in doing the booster side of things, the fundraising aspect. And there was just a lot of big money guys who did not like the fact that there was an expectation for money to be there without there being a lot of reciprocal work involved. And so whether it was going to be this year or next year, I do think his days were likely numbered. And I think just the way things ended with, not just the VCU game, but the Clemson game and the ACC tournament quarterfinals was pretty bad in a similar light. So I think those 2 games in a row really kind of pulled the plug.
Well, we appreciate it. Should be a fun one. And if he ends up here in Salt Lake City, I'd be a huge fan of what he brings to the table and what he can bring to the Utah Jazz. So it'll be fun to see how it plays out. And if he does, we'd love to get you back on. So we appreciate your time.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
There he is, Greg Barnes, Inside Carolina, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. I'm really intrigued with this guy. Like, I'm really, really fired up to see what he could possibly do.
I like the fact he has an edge. That's always great. And then length. Length and versatility in this day and age that's what you're looking for. Yeah.
And honestly, you mentioned it. You've talked about it at length. No pun intended. That the best way you can get quicker or better defensively is just add length.
Add length. Yeah, that covers up a lot of mistakes. Believe me.
What do you say? Defense is more about presentation.
It's a big piece of it. Yeah, you think about it. When teams see somebody down ready, they want to drive that area. No, they want to move the ball and find open space. So, just being in a stance and attentive is a big part of it.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked on to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. All right, we're in a generous mood today. Coach is always in a generous mood. And so during the break, he yelled at Lloyd, like, hey, Lloyd, I want you to give away some tickets. We need some tickets to give away. So here we go. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. You got a 4-pack of tickets to see the Utah Royals versus Racing Louisville coming up on Sunday, May 17th at America First Field. Game starts at 6 o'clock. You want those tickets? Be calling number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. All right, we had a chance to talk about this earlier in the show. It was our bad on the good, bad, the ugly. But imagine showing up late and starting +2 at a PGA Championship. Garrick Higgo is that golfer. He showed up 1 minute late and was assessed a 2-stroke penalty. Now, he shot 3 under on the day, which means he's only at 1 under, where he should be at 3 under and tied for the lead. Instead, because he was a minute late, he's 2 shots back at 1 under, and talked about his showing up late controversy.
I was obviously, so the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time but late. That's a 2-shot penalty. You have 5 minutes then until you're DQ'd. So yeah, I guess I could have taken five minutes longer, or just under that. But obviously it's unfortunate. I usually cut it fine. It was cold this morning. I was trying to stay as warm as possible coming from the range. I think it shows a lot of mental strength, the way I just kept fighting, and it wasn't going to affect my swing or my putting. So it is what it is. I mean, my caddy was on the tee box. I had my putter in my hand. Obviously I didn't have my watch on me. I didn't have my phone with me. I'm already in the clouds a little bit as it is, so I don't know what else to do.
Show up on time. That's what you can do. I don't know
kids,
what else.
I'll tell you what, man.
And then he applauds his own mental toughness. He's like, but it showed a lot of mental toughness. It didn't affect my swing that much. What do you say? I made sure I was on time, but I was late. Like, play that first little bit again.
I was obviously, so the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time but late.
I was obviously there on time but late.
I don't even know what that means.
So hold on a second. He's a young guy from South Africa.
Yeah.
Is Pennsylvania a marijuana state?
I don't know.
Like, is it legal there? Because that's what he sounds like. He
does seem very loosey goosey in that regard.
A little loosey goosey.
Yeah.
Talking all over the place.
I was obviously there on time but late.
I guess that's kind of how I was, Lloyd, when I came to meet with you that last day.
Did you? Hey, by the way,
you were like 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late.
Okay, so Coach mentioned while you were out and away from the show, like a good chunk of every day.
I was obviously, so the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time but late.
Listen, Higgo.
That's pretty much what Coach said when he came in.
I'm talking to Lloyd.
So, but when Coach is always on time. He's always been way early for every show over the last 4 weeks.
But he's on time.
But
I was there, but I was not there. I was there, but I was late.
But he was late for the meeting in which you guys kind of sealed the deal, so to speak.
Kind of an important one to be on time to.
So I said,
he was late.
Hey, Lloyd, I'm on the curb. And I looked at my thing. It was 10:01.
Oh, are we sure about this, Coach?
Well, I don't know. I don't have an exact recollection.
He had the putter in his hand.
Okay, maybe I was down a little further at 10:01.
That's the problem. You're on the tee box with a putter.
Yeah, what's that about, too?
Well, you're running me around. I was working 2 jobs like a clown, taking work off here to come do this, do that. I'm just glad it all ended well.
It all ended up well. But, yeah, that's the thing. Okay, so
But I was late, technically. I would have been – you would have issued me a 2-stroke penalty right out of my tenure.
And at 5 minutes, you get DQ'd. So apparently you really don't want to see what that's like. But, sooner or later –
I was obviously – so the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time but late.
Okay. Well, we now have a new show rule.
If you're 1 second late, it's a 2-stroke penalty.
Unless you're there.
Yeah, obviously you were there.
I call this Scotty time.
Oh, okay. When have I showed up late, Lloyd? I don't want to be catching strays on this. I feel like I'm starting to get that.
So the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time.
But late.
I was right there, but I just was late.
All right, so the guy shot well. Again, 1 under. So if he ends up losing this tournament by 2 strokes, or let's say even has a bad round tomorrow and he misses the cut by a stroke, yeah, that's going to hurt a little bit.
Can I say that's totally something I would do, though? Like, you're in a new country club and your tee time's coming up, but there's like this neat plaque on the wall and you kind of, and you get pulled in. And then all of a sudden they're calling your name and you're a minute late. I mean, it happens to the best of us.
Or you could show up to a country club, a really great country club, and at a big event at that country club, and you're wearing a what was it?
Oscar the Grouch?
Oscar the Grouch T-shirt. That was Gordon Monson, by the way. We had a huge, big event at
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. That's right.
Not just any.
Yeah, it was at Willow Creek, and we were doing some live broadcasts, and our old boss at the time, Randy Rogers, who was a member at Willow Creek, said, "You guys do not embarrass me. You come up, you are wearing proper golf attire. I don't even want you wearing shorts. I want slacks. I want everything nicely pressed. I want everything looking great. Do not embarrass me in front of my friends." And so we all come out dressed to our golf nines, all looking good, except for Gordon Monson, who shows up in his raggedy jeans and an Oscar the Grouch T-shirt. And
it went over big.
It went over very well.
But
yes.
was he on time?
Gordon really wasn't ever on time anyway, so there's a good chance he was late.
Late and Oscar.
And walking in with an Oscar the Grouch T-shirt, and Randy Rogers sent him home. That's the only time I've ever seen Gordon get sent away, but he's like, get out.
That's the two-stroke penalty we're talking about.
That was the two-stroke penalty. Yeah, or essentially he got DQ'd.
But you know my favorite thing about Gordo is he's just Gordo, man.
He doesn't care.
He's going to do it.
Yeah. You can't tell that old horse how to handle himself.
I've enjoyed getting to know him a little bit.
Yeah, he's the best.
A good dude.
The best. All right, so there you go. PGA Championship underway. Again, our guy Higgo was there, obviously there on time, but late.
That is so fitting because that's exactly what my day was like when I sealed the deal.
Okay, he said, all right, so I was supposed to be there at 7:18. I guess he went further on and say, I was there at 7:18 and 30 seconds. So it said, like, you'd be there at 7:18. He's looking down and says 7:18, but what he didn't realize is that he was 7:18 and 30 seconds.
Yeah, It is 7:18 the minute that hits, bud. You got no time at that point.
1 second late.
Dally.
Bam.
I was obviously, so the rule is that if you're 1 second late, you're late. I was obviously there on time, but late.
Late.
Sorry, Lloyd.
I actually like the fact that he went on to say, but, it showed a lot of mental toughness because, I still shot the ball well.
I thought it did. I mean, but I guess you can't say that about yourself.
That's the thing. Can you say that? You can say that about your team. You can say that about your coach or other players. But can you? It's like naming yourself T-Bone or giving yourself a nickname. Like you can't say you're mentally tough. You have to have other people say that about you.
I have given myself a nickname on my phone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
Rock God.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Yeah. So it says, Rock God, you must.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
I mean, I want somebody to think of me as a rock god, and at least Siri does.
So if Siri does, then you're well on your way.
That's one person. Well, one entity.
By the way, 4 players atop the leaderboard at 3 under par.
Oh, boy.
Minwoo Lee, Steven Yager has bombed his way to the top of the leaderboard, and Aldrich Potgieter at 3 under par. So
nobody had those guys as leaders on the card.
Lloyd's guy's hanging in there. Xander Schauffele at 2 under par, as he always does.
Perfect position.
Xander's treated you
he's like a good watch.
Yeah, Xander's always treated you very well. He never really seems to win it, but he always makes the cut. He's always in the top third.
Let's just say he's always on time.
You did see where DeChambeau is, right, Lloyd?
I did not. Where is he at?
+5.
You got to scroll down keep scrolling and keep scrolling.
I did not see that coming. I had no idea.
Yeah, BT evaluated all of our teams.
Actually, I lied. +6 he ended up.
BT evaluated all of our teams, and he thought that the Tim's team was really good, that my team was okay.
Right.
Your team was okay. And then he wasn't a real big fan of Alex's team. But that is, though, with the knowledge that at the time DeChambeau was +5. So that was very convenient for him to throw Alex under the bus when one of his guys is +5.
So
nobody would have
carry that +5? I mean, is that part? We add all these scores together?
Yeah. So assuming he does not make the cut, what we'll do is the player that does make the cut, the last player that makes the cut, his score on Sunday is then assigned to Bryson DeChambeau.
Okay.
So it can get, and those can get really hairy. So if you don't have a guy make the cut, you're pretty much done.
Okay. Well, Bryson, you better get going because Alex is over in the corner listening to Santana rocking back and forth, hoping that he can bring up this floor. He needs a higher floor.
Right now.
He's got to soothe those tears with a little Santana. Yeah, that's an interesting note, Santana. All right, so we'll keep you updated on the scores. And again, Brian Taylor, Bob Casper joining us throughout the week right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. All right, really fun conversation about Caleb Wilson. Most of these guys are going to come on and talk up their guys. Like, we even had the play-by-play guy of Kansas come on, and he's like, oh, yeah, Darren Peterson, great human being, great player. He'll be awesome. And then we had a fan, Ari Temkin, who's a Kansas fan, come on and just completely blast the guy.
Kid, yeah.
So you're going to have pros, you're going to have cons of every guy out there, and that's what the Jazz are trying to sift through right now.
And it's why, honestly, this time exists, because those conversations like we're having, we're kind of doing our mini evaluation, which I like. But they're getting into the details. And like I used to say, I was an assistant coach in college for 16 years. And every single time we had a guy near the draft, there would be phone calls coming, and you would have to map out 45 minutes with those guys, and they take you through a very standard list of questions. And again, they want to know about their background, what their parents are like. Are they dating somebody or married, or what are they like? It's just kind of all that stuff. And they're just doing fact finding to make sure that the money they spend, and they're going to be able to just focus on basketball.
So I've got a Rick Majerus urban legend story. You talk about, what's their family like and stuff like that. So I've heard that this is true, and I don't know if you can verify it or not.
The statute of limitations is up. So
No. Well, Rick Majerus was recruiting. I don't know who the kid was, and I don't know if he ended up signing him or not. I'm not sure. But Rick Majerus shows up at this kid's house and is going through the recruiting pitch with the family. Everybody's in the living room. Everybody's having a good time. And Rick looks at the player and said, looking at you and looking at, where you're at weight-wise, I'm a little concerned that you won't be able to put on the necessary weight needed to play at this level. At least that's what I thought. But then I see your mom over here, and I realize that that's part of your genetics, so I'm not too worried about that now.
Have not heard that one. Cannot confirm nor deny.
Okay, I think I got that one from Britain.
Okay. Well, it's firsthand then. So I just have not been, made aware of that one.
Not that he said that to Britain's family, but
right.
But
No.
Yeah.
But I have seen many things that would lead me to believe that there's a lot of truth there.
That doesn't surprise you if you found out that was true.
No, when you walked into a room, you were in his sights. You could get it. Anybody in the room could get it. You just didn't know where it was going to come from, because he would always had something to say. But yeah, that would surprise me if he was that overt. But maybe so. Maybe it wasn't a kid he cared to get.
Oh man, I was hoping that was a true story, because that was I've always used that as a classic Rick Majerus line.
One of the best ever was Cody Feger told me this story. He had to go pick him up at the hotel, and they were driving. So he had his car to do something. He went up to get Rick at the hotel, and then Rick wanted to drive, of course. So Rick gets and drives, and just as they're turning the corner to go to the Huntsman Center, somebody slams on their brakes, and they end up having an accident. And so Rick gets out of the car, and he's all bent out of shape. And so the officer comes. It's a university officer, and he doesn't really know it's one of his first accidents. So he's trying to handle it, and Rick's really impatient. And so finally he said, Cody, there's a reason people are where they are in this world. He just blasts the poor kid. He's just trying to do his job.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I'm serious. We could do a radiothon where we just get a couple of us on here, and we could just take turns, and it would just go for 24 hours.
Maybe let's see. You, Van Horn, Britton, Alex.
Got to get Drew Hansen.
Drew
got
Hansen.
Great ones. Dolly.
Oh, yeah, Doliak. There we go. You know what? And I'll get you in and out of break, and then I'll just sit back.
Maybe we have Scotty G and the coach with that Ute team. As many could join. That'd be kind of fun.
All traumatized by Rick Majerus.
By one man. that like to eat. We're at a place that provides meals. If you ever ate with Rick, that was a major thing. I'd never seen it. I'd heard about it, and I finally got it. We went to a restaurant, and he got a table, and we're sitting there, and he orders about 6 entrees, and there's 2 of us. And he got done, and he said, "Okay, that's what I'm having. What are you having?" And he had the waitress bring out a table right next to the table, one of those little, cocktail tables. And his extra food just sat on a platter, and he would just, rotate. It was like one of those sushi bars.
Oh, yes, had a little train come around. I'll take some of that.
Put on a lazy Susan, and just had it rotate. But I'd never seen anything like it in my life. The amount of money. Again, you hear all the bad stuff about Rick. There was this lady who was helping us. She was awesome. She busted her butt, and he tipped her like $200 or something, So he was an enigma for sure. He was volatile, but he was sweet. He was awful, and he was tender. I mean, it was the craziest dichotomy in a human being.
Yeah. 1247, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're live here at Beehive Mills. More about that coming up, including a new menu, a group of menu items. We'll talk to Annette coming up next. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You can't predict the future, but you can prepare for it. Arizona State University is building degrees for what's ahead, taught by world-class faculty who are shaping our future. Explore over 350 programs offered online at asuonline.asu.edu.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
So is like Santana the house band now of the show?
Well, we're hearing it some. I don't mind. It's okay. It's become now a running
Alex
shtick.
likes to make sure we at least get one Santana in a day. In fact, he said a Santana song a day keeps the doctor away.
Or may keep the listeners away. I maybe once a day might be a bit much. How about
especially when you have the brilliance of my music catalog, just aching to be played.
I would say maybe twice a week. How about that? And then we can adjust accordingly.
We could Cinco de Mayo. We could go 2 times that week.
Yeah, there you go.
In honor of Santana.
All right, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.